Have you ever seen something and said, wow, now I understand, I've connected the dots, I see why I should be buying Microsoft? And it's all about the screaming at me of Activision and ChatGPT and OpenAI that I've been hearing over the last several months. But this morning I saw Bobby Kotick on Squawk Box, and he explained to me why Activision and Microsoft need to come together and the obstacles that he's facing and what the future holds for the gaming industry if he can get connected with Microsoft, and if he can get England and Europe to go along with it, and how then maybe he can compete with ByteDance and Tencent. This made a tremendous amount of sense to me, and it's made a even stronger commitment on my part to get in and buy Microsoft. Let's dig into it deeper.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
I've always recognized Microsoft as one of my big six, as I call them, after I read the book by Amy Webb on what she called the big nine. I don't invest in China stocks, so that immediately reduced it down. I don't invest in IBM, but that nonetheless, I always felt that Microsoft was the least glamorous of the Apple, Google, Amazon, and Facebook. And now I keep hearing talk about Microsoft. And the first big talk was that about OpenAI and Microsoft investment of originally it was about $1 billion, and they've since upped the ante in the last couple of months to $10 billion. And they're going to incorporate that in their Bing search engine, and that may supposedly challenge Google's position in search. Can you imagine if they can through Bing gather up the advertising dollars or a portion of the advertising dollars that Google makes off of Google search, that they really literally could become a challenger? So I think that's interesting. Then I also recognize that with that OpenAI comes ChatGPT, and that's a major change in the world we're going to live. And then this morning, as I said, I hear Bobby talking about their effort to get bought out by Microsoft. And what he's saying is they have an agreement at $95 a share that supposedly is going to come to fruition. I think he said it was on July 17th of this year. And yet they're getting some pushback to say that it would be unfair competition if Microsoft owned Activision because of the fact that there's no competition here in the United States. But as Bobby said, there's tremendous competition over in China, and he's not allowed in China with his Activision. And then he made a statement that really rang true to me. He said, the fact is that a lot of people think that our gaming business is a business where we charge a lot for people to play our games, and it's a kid's business. And he said, in actuality, most of our games are being paid for free. And a light bulb went off on my head, and I thought back to 2 weeks ago when I was down in the Orlando airport, and I saw this lady just hammering on her phone, and she was about my age, and I mean, she was just going crazy with it, and totally absorbed. And so I got up and walked around behind her, and what she was doing, she was playing Candy Crush. And Bobby explains to me that's the biggest part of their audience is this free playing of. And I don't play games. I don't have time to play games, but I recognize that this is a part of this world I knew nothing about, and Microsoft obviously does, and recognizes this is going to open up a whole new audience to them. Think about this: that well, I have thought of Microsoft as basically all they provide me for is my Excel spreadsheet and Word and some other programs, but they're not a major part of my life, and they are not certainly an advertiser or a promoter of advertising. Well, if you can get that lady playing Candy Crunch, I'm sure there's some advertising on there. If they can then get Bing to take a place in search engines and gather up some of Google's business, that's a tremendous opportunity. So all of a sudden, the lowest player on my big six is reaching up and saying, hey, look at me. Look at me. I think I have a future for you, Carrie, and I think you need to buy into my stock. So I've set a price that where I want to buy Microsoft, and I put in an order yesterday. Didn't get to my price, but as someone told me, be patient. It'll come to you. There'll be enough bad news to bring it down, and I'm doing it based on some things I've learned from Mark on his swing trading, that you can read the charts and you can predict where it's going to come down. There's a gap I want it to fill, and at that gap I'll buy in, because I see, and again I'll commit to this, that the world is going to change more in the next 5 years than it did in the preceding 200. And the people who are going to take us there are people like Microsoft and Google and Amazon and Apple. And why is that? Because they've got the data, they've got the money, they've got the experience, and they're entrenched. They've got a moat built around them. There's nobody else that Bobby's talking about. Well, maybe somebody else will come and buy us. In fact, Bobby is of the mindset, I wish this would happen, and we could come to a big brother, little brother relationship with Microsoft, because, as he says, I have access to talent. He said, but there is a bridge which I can't cross. And he said, the person who can take me across that bridge to give me the talent that I need to turn Activision into the company that it has the potential to be is that of Microsoft. Now, I'm experiencing the same thing. I'm trying to build a AI school. That is, a school to teach financial planning. The biggest part of our population is denied access to financial planning, because if you don't have a $500,000 investment, they don't want to talk to you because they get paid on assets under management. But so I want to take my knowledge and teach it. But I want to use AI to do that. But what I've realized is the same thing that Bobby realized. I don't have access to the talent that can help me cross that bridge. I know everything about financial planning. I know about insurance, and I know about estate planning and the programs that you can get for educating your children. I know all that, but the guy who can put it together for me and bring OpenAI and ChatGPT into it, I don't know. So I'm reaching out through Google Ventures, and Microsoft has an investment channel as well, and I'm reaching out to those people through LinkedIn. But much like Bobby, if I can't get that connection, it's going to be very, very difficult for me to create what I want to create to educate the world in financial literacy. So I identify with what Bobby is saying. And then what Bobby said, which made total sense to me, he says, if we can't get a partner like Microsoft, we can't compete with Tencent and Baidu and the other Chinese companies. So my takeaway on this whole thing is I need to own Microsoft. I need to own it at my price, and I think it will come to me because there's a gap in there, and that's where I want to buy it. So I want you to look at it. Put in the comments what you think about Microsoft and Activision, and if you're a gamer, give me some input on this, because I think if we work together, we can make better investment decisions. That's what our tribe is all about. And that you have access through our Discord. We have a course on there that's run by Mark that's on doing swing trading, and we have people making money every day doing that swing trading. It's a proven course. He has about a 89% success ratio on making profits on swing trades. Take a look at it, and then give me some input on your thoughts on Microsoft and Activision. And do I have this right? Talk to you again tomorrow.